Welcome back to Here with Goldberg. Today we'll be discussing this question. I was going to bring up the UK election, but I figured this was more pertinent and current. The willingness of people to still make themselves pawns to political movements or narratives, despite having access to so much information, readily speaking. They just march forward. So I couldn't find the exact TikTok, but this guy was ranting in his car about, I'm so sick and tired of this. I just want to spend time with my trad wife and kids, but my big daddy boss has me on call at work, so I got to go there now. I can't get in shape at the gym. This protein shake's going straight to my ass. Screw you, Biden. Screw you, liberals. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but did people work overtime or on call or multiple jobs or on the road not seeing their family when Trump was in office? Or is that just made up? That's Democrat propaganda. I mean, I don't really know. I wouldn't be able to help you. You guys answer the question for me. This only started with the Biden, right? Economic desperation, struggling with rent. This is only because of Biden that this began. That's my understanding. I hope you guys can back me up on that so I feel that I've been correct. Stroke my ego, please. Here, this is a Benny Johnson guy. He's kind of a nerdy Chad MAGA, and he's introducing having this clip. Every man needs this girl. So we've got a chick. She says it's not about female rights. We need tax cuts, and all these guys are probably gay soy liberals, as in if they don't agree with her on some issues. This is a conservative woman, by the way. So we've got the ass hanging out from the cutoff shorts. We got the belly button showing. The ion cannon's about to pop out. We got the cross and the pearl necklace. So those go together. And the MAGA hats. Yeah, absolutely. Look at the comments. Okay, we're all feminists here, right? Because conservatives, obviously, they're fine with current female empowerment. Just don't go to that extent. Don't shave your hair and be purple. She was raised by a good father. Yeah, I bet her father like looks at her in her cutoff shorts. Definitely. Protect this queen at all costs. I found a woman like that 20 years ago. Really, a half-naked woman on the beach? Life is good. Our kids are just like us. I don't want to see what your kids look like. A woman that uses logic. Impressive. Hound Dog 946. Yeah, you know where he's been sniffing. I hope this young lady has a male in her life that treats her like a queen. Yeah, these are conservative men, but it's understandable. I can't measure up, by the way. I was just thinking, you know that Andrew Wilson Crucible guy, the hardline tradcon who roasts all the feminists? You know he's married to a woman who has kids with two prior men? He's the guy that stepped up, and he allows her to be on his show talking about traditional conservatism. So we are all inadequate here. Maybe some of you have you've done that. Maybe you've started with a single mom or and raising tradcon kids. I'm just saying I'm not good enough for the conservative movement. I will never be. I have to hang my head in shame. Here's another one from this dude. He's talking about a Gen Z girl. She can't afford anything except a scanner. I guess this is considered high class to have a scanner in your life. And he says, if you're tired of this, seriously, just vote Republican, vote MAGA, do America first. Yeah. So let's think about that because we have all the inflation, high costs. What did the Republicans actually do when they are in power? I have no idea. I'm just asking questions. What exactly did the Republicans do when they were in power under Paul Ryan, when they had undivided government? What exactly did they do? So we had a massive tax cut that mostly went to corporations, but I guess if you own stocks, you could say you indirectly benefited. That's fine. Did we have any spending cuts? Of course not. Did we have any tough immigration bills that solve the problem, protect workers, protect public safety, cutting off H-1B visas to help American graduates? Not that I'm aware of. Did we have any, did the infrastructure bill, their version, which is better than the Democrats, one of the easiest pieces of legislation they could have advanced and ratified? Of course not. Did we have any government reform? No, we didn't. Entitlement reform? No. Did they close any military bases? No. What did Trump do? He kept rates very low, so you had more money injected into the economy, and of course that means that more people had access to these things that maybe they couldn't afford right before COVID. Uh, you had stuff like the COVID relief money. And if you talk about that, it was about 2 trillion, and then the 4.4 trillion, I believe, the Federal Reserve put forward. So this is a lot of money being spent. You had the trade war, which is going to affect supply chains and increase costs, all that stuff. So this is the reason to vote for Republicans, right? And none of the inflation under Biden was caused by Trump or the Republican. No, no, that was all the Democrats that did that. You know, obviously we wouldn't have had inflation if Trump was reelected. This is the mentality these people have. I mean, seriously, why is there any reason to vote for Republicans? Oh, well, they did put in place conservative justices. That new Chevron ruling is interesting. I guess they said it would potentially prevent a future COVID mandate, but it also puts the writing of laws on stuff like the environment and on chemicals in the hands of politicians and people and lawyers, essentially, people that get appointed to judgeships. I don't know if that's going to play out well, but yeah, I mean, really, what's the point of voting Republican? I've said this, you might get slightly lower taxes. They've done absolutely nothing, and they probably will do nothing. Oh, that's negative. No, that's what they do. They do absolutely nothing. So what is the purpose of voting Republican exactly? What do you get with the current Republican Party? Well, let's stop and take a look at the RNC. What are they giving us? Here we have Savannah Chrisley.
I'm up here tonight because my meemaw and my peepaw were cruelly and unfairly targeted by the corrupt Biden administration because they have about $20 million of income they didn't want to pay taxes on. And I know if I publicly fillet Trump enough, he's going to pardon them so my fag dad and my Karen mom can get back to the business of making money.
Yeah, this is what it is. These rich individuals up here trying to get commutations and pardons. This is what's put in front of the RNC. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And then you've got Amber Rose, who organized the slut walks. She is an atheist. She praises Satanism as a rational philosophy. She claims she was banging Kanye up the weehee, and he was like, I don't like that. I prefer to date trannies. So then he was with Kim Kardashian. She cucked him, and he got with the Italian woman who makes him dress like a hijabi in public. So all this money, all this fame, just utter humiliation. Nick Fuentes criticized Amber Rose having a speaking slot, and some base black conservative brother was like, "Shut up, thumbface. She's bringing a lot of black people to the Republican Party. The speech is important." And these white cuck conservatives going, "Everyone's welcome who wants to MAGA." Yeah, maybe canvassing your local neighborhood, not being the face of the GOP, the party of Lincoln. Although I guess, in fairness, given what Lincoln did, this makes sense. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's just completely moronic, but this is what the GOP is giving you. Okay, the woman here, Harmeet Dillon, who almost became head of the RNC a year or so ago. Warigu, Wololo Rogan, we want your blessing, we love you, Warigu. Right. This is the future GOP. Remember, people said Jeb Bush was so damaging to the party? You might as well have just voted for Jeb Bush because this is the direction it's going. And don't give me this crap about how it's not Trump's choice. Yes, his daughter-in-law, Laura, is very high up in the RNC. So she is part and parcel of this. He's sitting there smiling like a exhausted clown to all this just, what, vaudeville show? Freak show? I don't know what you want to call it. Also notice they constantly parade these brothers around, but the conservative movement only wants you as a black man if you are gay or in some kind of diversity relationship. This is why they didn't like Alan West, because he spoke his mind, but he was also in a relationship with a black woman who was in a Shaniqua. They don't like that imagery. You have to be with a Becky or something else. I know Tim Scott was engaged to a Becky, but they said now he's going to be able to break up because he's probably a homosexual. Mark Robinson, they'll get rid of him. He's been saying things about the Care Bears. Trust me, they're going to try to find a way. They'll probably secretly support the Care Bear who's running against him for governor. They don't like that stuff. You have to behave in a certain fashion, join the broader. I talked about this, that conservatism is not really anti-globalism so much as it's trying to make those people more amenable to it by putting the overlay of traditional values, low taxes, limited government, but you're still going to get the same thing at the end of the day. Arguably, this is where Ramaswamy jacked up, because he married a Pooja. He should have had a diversity relationship. They would have been more welcoming of him. And he should have just become trad cath like Dinesh D'Souza. Instead, and this shows you how desperate people are, he went around claiming he was a monotheistic Hindu. Now, I know that Hindus don't necessarily follow every single god, it's kind of a hierarchy, but if you're a Hindu claiming you worship one god, you're really trying to reach, man. And this is how desperate people become in these financial democratic politic regimes because they don't really fit in, so they have to change something. But like I said, if he had embraced Christianity and he was in a diversity relationship, they probably would have made him VP. That's just how the Republicans are at this point. And by the way, quick point here. The GOP changed its official platform, said they're okay with sex changes as long as taxpayers don't fund them. Which makes sense. I mean, think about what they do to infant babies, right? You can't take hormones and have part of you cut off. We'll just cut off a smaller part of you because it's tradition. Exactly. Moving on here. Then we've got this wonderful person as VP. He's married to Pooja. I'm not gonna like go and rail too much because let's be honest, I've already railed better Poojas than this. She looks like a pretty normie-esque suburbanite woman. Apparently, Tiger Mom Amy Chua tried to get them together, and in her defense, much as it's humiliating that the guy who might inherit the America First movement is married to a diversity puja, but still, you have to recall in his book, there's a little segment where he was talking about being a gay cell. So it's possible she's just the beard to cover it up so that he can be presentable to all these trad cons. He actually became Catholic, but I think she's Hindu. I don't know if she's a monotheistic Hindu, though. We'll have to ask Ramaswamy that question. How do you go in that direction? Like, do you kind of like take the cross, but you do the Hindu traditions? I'd be curious. On a related note, apparently the mullah cells of Iran were targeting Trump for assassination prior to the Soyjak attempt that occurred this past weekend. Now, it could just be deflection on the part of the true perpetrators as far as we know, but it does somewhat align with the narrative I brought up in previous videos. Because J.D. Vance, he gets the VP nod. What does he say afterwards? When it comes to Iran, you can't do this pussified stuff. You gotta bomb the hell out of them. Wipe them off the face of the planet. Yeah, bruh. Yeah, this is MAGA. This is America First. There were a couple people trying to argue against me and say, oh, yeah, the Care Bears don't like Trump. Trump isn't on the side of the Care Bears. You have no credibility if you're trying to say something of that nature. You need to just shut up and sit down. But are you prepared? If you're MAGA, are you prepared to fight for Trump in Iran? You going to do it? You're going to join the military? You're going to get drafted? You're okay with that? I mean, what a tragedy. I know there's we have the mullah cells, but can we please just leave the light-skinned Persian girls out of it? Oh my God. Can I simp? Do I have the right to simp once in a while, ladies and gentlemen? That's what we need, like a Russian colony in Iran or an Iranian colony in Russia. That'd be a nice admixture, I think. But yeah, this is the Republican Party, and this is the Republican Party that's going to win the future for, well, you insert there, I don't know.